Hello, welcome to our restorative yoga class. I have logged on super early to make sure that it's working. The past 2 weeks we've had some weird glitches. So it looks pretty good. We have still 14 minutes to go. So just take your time getting settled. I'm going to drink some more water, grab some blankets and pillows, and we're going to settle in for a nice practice. So see you in a bit. See how Pumpkin and Samba and Rumba are here to help? See, this glare on this glass is pretty strong. Let me see. Okay. Great.
How long is your class?
It's on live right now. It'll last for half an hour.
Okay.
I've just started it early because of the glitches I've had. Okay. So we have 10 minutes still until class begins. I've gotten 2 blankets folded up to use as bolsters. You might want to do the same. You can use couch cushions or towels, pillows, anything to provide some support when we're in seated and folded positions. So we'll get started in about 9 minutes. Is it the bad kitty? He's coming over for some food. We have a neighbor kitty who likes to come and eat our cat's food. Okay, 9 more minutes. I'm going to get my note card and I'll see you here. You gonna practice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's a cat. Hi, Grandpa.
Mats are right there. We are live.
Okay.
Getting settled. So if you want to get a mat that's there, and you could use the cushion from this chair.
Hi, Grandpa. Hi. No, you come here.
So like I mentioned, you can use just about anything as a support. So this is going to be going for my daughter who's going to practice in the same space with us. Rumba. So you will probably see some cats running around. They might not all be ours. There's an orange one whose name is Pumpkin. There's a little calico with half a tail. Her name's Rumba. A fluffy tortoiseshell, that's Samba, and a black and white Mambo, but I think she's off in bed someplace. She's probably the laziest, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Yeah. You need a cushion too, Chloe? Okay. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. So we have 7 more minutes. We're collecting our mats and pillows and blankets here. You might want to do the same. I signed in early to make sure everything was working because the last 2 weeks we've had some weird glitches, but so far so good. You cooled off.
Mm-hmm.
We have our doors open, so you're liable to hear the pond, the fountain in the pond, some birds, and the wind chimes. Might be fun to take stock of the sounds in your space. See how that dogwood tree came back to life?
Mm-hmm.
You just drove in? So our family had a big celebration this weekend because our youngest graduated from West Point and was commissioned, and her big sister did the commissioning and was coming into town for a family party because there were few enough tickets that we decided to just take the core family up there and have a party down here. And she came in town the day early, so she's practicing with us in this space. Both of them are. Both of the Army officers are practicing here with us. 5 minutes goes by slowly sometimes. This is one of those times. Aloha. So happy you could join us. I've got a couple of folded blankets for support tonight. My daughter's using a chair cushion. So that should be all we need if you want to gather those items before we begin. Are you in Hawaii? So great. Oh, wow. We will be there for the first time starting June 5th. Can't wait. Thank you for joining us. Okay, just 2 more minutes. Enjoy settling into your space. Take note of the sounds around you. And we'll begin right at 7:30 Eastern. All right, well, I show 7:30, so we'll begin. My name is Jennifer Dietz. I am a Warriors at Ease certified teacher, and I'm so pleased to be able to practice with you tonight. This is a restorative yoga class, so we will do fewer postures, hold them for a little bit longer, and not hold so much as ease into them, and use this opportunity to settle in at the end of the day or take a break to be energized if it's the middle or beginning of our day. So if you would like to join me, please take a seat on an elevated cushion or a bolster of some kind. I have 2 blankets folded up here. And by sitting in this manner, we can allow a greater opening in our hips as we settle into our first bit of work, which is simply to breathe. So make note of your surroundings. You might hear sounds of birds, cats, wind chimes, and a water fountain from my audio pickup, but your sounds might be somewhat different. So just notice what's in your environment and be aware of it, and then let it fade into the background as you tune into what's going on inside your body. Whatever posture you've chosen for your seat, allow yourself to feel rooted down at the same time as you're reaching up through the crown of your head. So you've got length through your spine and you're well supported in your seat. Your eyes can be closed or your gaze downcast or simply open, your choice. As you start to notice the rhythm of your own breathing. are a lot of ways we can use breathing, control it to help settle ourselves. And one wonderful way is alternate nostril breathing. So you can use your hands or you can just use your mind. So imagine breathing in through your left nostril. And as the air comes in, imagine it hovering overhead when you're full. And then exhale out the right side. And then hover at the bottom. And then reverse that loop. Inhale through the right side. Hover full at the top. And exhale through the left side. Hovering at the bottom. And let's do that cycle twice more. So in through the left. Pause nice and full. And out through the right. Pausing at the bottom. In through the right. Pausing at the top. Out through the left. Pausing at the bottom. And then one more cycle, just at your own pace. So reflect for a moment on how this feels and allow your breath to resume its natural rhythm. Now as we begin to move, let's move off of our support and take a kneeling position, tabletop position, with hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Check in with your belly, hug your ribs in. Let your neck be long but not tight. Just feel yourself supported on your long arms and on your upper leg. And from this supported position, lean into your right hand and your knees and release your left hand and open to the ceiling. So there's no prizes for how much or how little you spiral open. Your goal is just to invite your shoulders to open a little bit more than they were a few moments ago. Now take your left hand and send it through the space created by your right side. And as you send it through, you're going to lower your shoulder down to the mat and then lower your cheek at the same time. You can release your right hand ahead or bring it around your back. And we'll stay here for a few moments. If your arm is extended or wrapped around, bring it back under your right shoulder and press in. And now spiral open again. And pause with your hand in the air and see if you notice a difference from when you first opened to now. And bring your hand back to the mat. Press into your left hand, release your right hand, and spiral open. Your sides might feel different. And now take your right hand, send it through the space created on the left. Lower your shoulder down to the mat and your cheek. Release your left hand overhead or behind your back. This is threading the needle. If your hand is extended or wrapped behind your back, bring it under your shoulder and press in. And as you press in, spiral open and let your hand hover for a moment as you assess how this feels compared to how it felt at the beginning. And then return your hand to the mat. Press into both hands, into your left knee, and extend your right leg behind you so that your toes are in contact with the floor. For this series of movements, you can be elevated on your hands or you can drop down onto your forearms if that feels a little more restful tonight. Press into your right heel so that your right calf is lengthened. Release pressure from your right heel. Come back to your hands if you were down on your forearms and return your right knee under your right hip. Feel your stable base. Now send your left foot behind you, toes on the ground. Press into your left heel, finding length along your left calf. And again, if it is more beneficial tonight for you to rest on your forearms while you're stretching your left calf, then by all means do so. If you're on your forearms, bring your hands back under your shoulders and release the pressure on your left knee and bring it back underneath you. We have one more thing to do from tabletop position. I'm going to get my blankets out of the way. Press into your hands and your right knee and send your left leg behind you. Now you're going to sweep it out to the left and place the sole of your foot flat on the floor. So now you're in like an Outbreaker with both hands and your right knee underneath you. Shift your weight into your right side, release your left, and spiral open. And notice how this feels different when you have your hip open as well. Now return your gaze to the floor and let your hand follow. Take your weight into the toe of your left foot and sweep it around through center over to the right side. Look over your right shoulder and find length all the way from your pinky toe to your ear. And again, if this is too aggressive on your wrists, you can always come down to your forearms. Take your gaze between your hands, whether you're on hands or forearms, and let your toe come back behind your left hip and return your knee. Come to all four hands and knees and pause. Send your right leg back, and now sweep it to the side, placing the sole of the foot flat on the floor. Release your right hand and open to the ceiling. Notice how this feels compared to when we were doing threading the needle from the tabletop. Take your gaze down to the mat, let your hand follow. Take your weight into the toe of your right foot and sweep your leg behind you through center and over to the left side. Look over your left shoulder and find length all the way from your pinky toe to your ear. Return your gaze between your hands. Let your weight come into your toe. Come back behind your right hip. Knee underneath your hip. And now you're in your tabletop. If your supports are nearby, grab them and bring them in front of you as we get ready to move into our first supported child's pose. So you can have your knees together, or you can send them a little wide, your choice. Your blankets or pillows or any other support you have are going to be on your chest, so that as you fold over, you can release your chest and your cheek to your support. And once you have found a comfortable place for your torso, your arms can go ahead or behind, palms up, so that your shoulders can have some opening thanks to the help of gravity. So we will remain here with our cheek to one side for a couple of minutes, really settling in and allowing our hips to open. Just enjoy this folded up, peaceful posture. And then we'll switch our cheek to the other side so that we have nice balance. Child's pose is a wonderful posture to take during the middle of a more energetic practice. But it's also a good posture to take just if you need to reconnect with yourself at any time during the day. And supported like this, you can linger a little longer without extra strain on your joints. You can hear the traffic as well. Let's take a moment to bring your hands to support your torso as you press up and turn your cheek to the other side. And this way we have balance. Now we could probably make a really delightful practice entirely of child's pose on a bolster, but we do have a few other things ahead of us. So let's bring our hands under our shoulders and press up off of the bolster. We're going to stay in a forward-facing position, but we're going to slide our support out a little ahead of us and come forward so that you are with your knees far enough back that when you lower your hips, your chest is supported on your bolster. So this is a supported Sphinx posture. So we have hips in contact with the mat, knees, tops of feet, and forearms, but our chest is supported by our bolster. Now, once you have that backward bending shape, you can relax your head onto the space. You can fold your hands even so that your chin is level. But this, we're getting the backward bending in our back. We had the curve forward, and now we have the backward bending. So just linger here for a moment and let your hips be heavy so that your back opens up on the front side. All right, we're going to do two things to wring this out. Let's bring your hands back to the mat, slide them under your shoulders, and press up and off of your support onto fallen leaf, which is knees together, hips back toward heels, chest folding over legs, forehead to mat, hands released all the way to the rear. So this is just counter pressure to that bending that we were doing. Now bring your hands back under your shoulders. Press up into your tabletop. Remove your bolster and go ahead and bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Lower your cheek and bend your knees and rock your heels side to side. And this is also for a little bit of relief to your low back. Release your legs to the mat. Okay, you can get onto your back any way you like. So press up and just roll over. Bring your bolster along and slide it under your knees. So we are going to do a practice final relaxation posture before we do some twisting and then settle in. So get your bolster under your legs, high on your legs, under your knees, so that the heaviness of your thighs is supported by the bolster. And you can just release any tension there. And let's stay here for just a moment before we do some twisting and then settle in for our final relaxation. Now bring the soles of your feet to the mat, knees bent, and let your bolster slide out from beside you. Keep it handy, but you can let it not be in your way. With your knees bent, draw your knees close into your chest and rock side to side. Send your left leg long, keeping your right leg drawn in. Make some circles with your right knee. So you're drawing circles in the air with your right knee, which is moving your leg around in your hip. Whatever direction you chose, now choose the opposite direction. Now hug your knee in. We have the right leg in, the left hand will come onto the right knee, and you'll draw your leg across your body, releasing your right hip from the floor, sending your right arm to the side, palm up, and you can take your gaze to the right as well. Here, we're just going to let gravity help open across the upper arms, the upper chest, and the hip. Okay, bring your gaze straight overhead. Allow your right hip to come back down in contact with the floor. Hug your knee in one last time and send it long. Draw your left leg in, hug it close, and taking your knee in your hand, draw circles with your left knee. Whatever direction you chose, please go the opposite direction now. And stop where you are, hug that knee in again, and take the knee in your right hand, drawing it across your body, and then send your left hand to the side, palm up, and turn your gaze to the hand. Again, allowing gravity to open up across the upper chest, upper arm, inner arm, outside of your leg and your low back. Return your gaze to the ceiling. Let your left hip come back down. Hug your leg in and send it long. And now we've come to the time of our practice where we will just lie and do a body scan meditation. So if you liked the experience of having your legs elevated with a bolster, this is a time to get situated in that posture. I'm going to take a seated position as I walk you through the body scan for the last few minutes of our practice. So whatever shape you've chosen, settle into it and first become aware of your breath. And as you're aware of your breath in this posture, notice where you're supported on the surface below you. So if you are on the floor without any support, you probably have heels and calves, the tops of your thighs, your seat, your upper back, and your arms, along with the back of your skull in contact with the mat or the surface below you. If you have your legs up on a bolster, then you feel the contact there, and maybe your low back is also pressing onto the floor. And with each breath, Your chest expands and you can feel the movement of your ribs slightly apart from one another, creating space for the breath. And as you exhale, you can feel everything drawing together. So knowing that the breathing is going to take place of its own accord and that you are well supported on the surface below you, let's see if we can tune in to each region of our body and let it be completely at ease. So starting with our feet, wiggle your toes and then let them be still. Notice the contrast. Feel the hollow of your arch and the space inside your ankle and on the outside. Can you feel the muscles of your lower leg be soft and easy? And release any tension in your knees on either side and underneath the kneecap. And can you let the top part of your leg be heavy? And maybe it even eases open a little bit more in your hip joint. And when your legs are completely at ease, can you feel that radiating up also to your lower back and your low belly? You're supported and you don't have to do any work. The breath is coming and going naturally. And your upper back, connected to your shoulders and arms, can you feel the release of any tension in your inner elbow, the palm of your hand, each fold in your fingers and thumb? And all the way up to your neck, the space behind your neck, your hairline as it comes up from the nape of your neck to your brow, the space between your eyes and at the edge of your eyes. Are these all soft and at ease? The corners of your mouth, the edges of your jaw. Let everything be soft, supported, and at ease. If you can linger here, by all means do. But if it's time for you to return to your day's activities, we have reached the end of our class. Go ahead and bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And before you return to an upright position, curl over to the side and let your head be cradled on your folded arms. And when you're ready, come to a seated position. And please join me in a gesture of gratitude for having spent this time together in restorative yoga. For Dietz, Warriors at Ease certified teacher, it is my privilege to practice with you tonight. If you'd like to contribute to what makes this work possible through Operation Remote Resilience, please follow the link below. And we look forward to seeing you in future classes in health, resilience, and connection. Thank you. Thank you, Letty. I'm so glad to practice with you.